Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Game Week 37 of Premier League predictions. Last week I got 7 points, taking me to a total of 182 points. And that is excluding the City and Crystal Palace game because that hasn't happened yet. So if I do get points for that game, that will be moved to the next game or next video alongside the points I get for this week's games. So this week we're going to kick off with Villa versus Liverpool. Villa, they played Burnley and they slip again in the league, but I don't think they'll care all too much. I think they have their eyes on something else, and that being the Europa League final. But they did play pretty well. I did expect them to rotate a lot more. I guess they just don't have the players to do so, but they did play pretty well. They just couldn't beat Burnley. As for Liverpool, they played Chelsea in a decent game from their half. I think it was all right. It wasn't like their recent performances. And the goal that they did concede was a weird one. It was one of those goals or crosses you just can't touch or otherwise it will go in. It ended up going in either way. And I do want to give a shout out to Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. I think they had pretty good games. But for this matchup, Villa versus Liverpool, Villa has been getting better at Villa Park against Liverpool. It usually be Liverpool getting all the points, but Villa has been getting better. But Villa have Europa League after this game. So I think they're going to have their eyes on that game instead of this one. So it's Liverpool's chance to get the 3 points, but I just don't trust Liverpool in doing so. So I'm going down the middle. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Next up is United versus Forest. United, they play Sunderland, and they weren't all too good, especially Mount and Ahmad. I think, my God, those guys were awful, especially Ahmad. I think Ahmad was a shiny new toy last season, and this season he's just done and dusted. Maybe it's a confidence thing, I don't know. But Bruno is still looking for his 2 assists to break the record. So that's literally the only thing they have looking forward to. As for Forest, they played Newcastle and picked up a decent point, even though they don't really need points at this point. The season is pretty much over for these guys. They don't have anything to look forward to. They're not relegating. They're not getting Europe. Last thing I want to talk about for these guys is that Anderson most likely will leave in the summer, and I hope we pick him up, us being City. But for this matchup, United versus Forest, I think United are going to want to help Bruno get that record. It's at Old Trafford, so I do expect them to win here. But it's going to be low scoring in my opinion. I'm going to go for a 1-0 draw. Next up is Brentford versus Crystal Palace. And Brentford, I don't really think they had a chance or didn't really create many chances. Their transition play was the plan, and it didn't really work out. I think Sade was the only real outlet out for them. Didn't work out, and they are slowly slipping down the league. They are starting to just get out of the Europe spots. I think they were at 6th in 1 point. Now they're in 8th, and I can see them slowly slipping down again, but not in this game. So they are slowing down. And Crystal Palace, they played against Everton, and they played way better than I expected. They played Conference League before this game, and they're now in their final. But then they came to Everton, or they actually hosted Everton, and were the better team in my opinion. And shout out to Kamada and Mitchell. I think they were good, and usually they don't get shout outs. For this matchup, Brentford versus Crystal Palace, I think Crystal Palace also has their eyes on something else, that being the final, even though it is at the end of the season. And I don't expect Crystal Palace to try off too much. They are going to be away in this game. Brentford still want European spot. So I'm going to give it to Brentford here, even though they haven't been winning any games recently. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Brentford. Next up is Leeds versus Brighton. Leeds, they played Spurs, and they were really trying to do their part. They had some brilliant moments. I think Sean Longstaff hit the post at one point. Kingsley was put to work, and their defense was also great in that game. As for Brighton, they dominated Wolves in their performance, 3-0. Hinshelwood, I don't know where this form is coming from, but he's been in great form. And then Mitoma goes down injured, and I think he's missing the World Cup. So another player going down to injury at the end of the season and missing World Cup. That's sad to see. But for this matchup, Brentford or Brighton can get Champions League possibly if they beat the next 2 games, or they win the next 2 games. But Leeds clearly like to ruin some dreams. I think they beat Spurs. Now they can stop Brighton, and in their last game, I think they play West Ham, so they can stop West Ham as well. And it looks like Leeds are going to have fun doing so. And I see them stopping Brighton getting the win here. It's going to be at Ellen Road. They're going to make it tough for them. I'm going to go for a high-scoring 2-2 draw. Next up is Wolves versus Fulham. Wolves, they're on vacation. It's over for them. They're not going to try anymore. As for Fulham, They played better than in the recent games. They ended up losing still. And it was partly due to a silly red from Anderson. Bournemouth got the red first, then Anderson got it. So they could have won because they were a man up, a man advantage. But they can still make Conference League if they win this one and they win their next one and other results go their way. And I do expect them to win this one. It is Wolves. Should be an easy game for them. I'm going to go for well, actually, no. It's not going to be an easy game for them. I did want to go for a 1-1 draw because it's going to be at the Molineux. And Wolves probably don't want to lose in their last home game. But yeah, I'm giving it to Fulham either way. Believing in Fulham for once. I'm going for a 1-0 win to Fulham. Next up is Everton versus Sunderland. Everton, they went against Crystal Palace and they were on the back foot majority of the game. I expected them to try a lot better. They were just doing counterattacking. But yeah, not a good game from them, especially considering what they did last week against us, pricks. Sunderland, they played against United, had a decent performance, and they just lacked finishing. I think they've been lacking finishing for a while now. Their attackers just can't shoot at the goal. But solid defense, even though it didn't need to be all that good. But for this matchup, I do expect Everton to win. I think Everton has something to play for. They still want, I think they can get Europa. It is going to be at their home as well. So I expect them to try a little bit better here, or a little bit more, and beat Sunderland. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Everton. Next up is Newcastle versus West Ham. Newcastle, they had another decent performance in their game against Forest. Did end up drawing. That's another game where they lead the game and lose points. And I do think the team is due a shake-up at the end of the summer or at the end of the season. A couple players I expect to leave. Even the manager I expect to leave. As for West Ham, they tried their best. They really did. They were so close to getting the draw. And I do think a draw would have been fair for these guys. And for this matchup, Newcastle versus West Ham, I think West Ham still need to pick up points. Newcastle, their season's pretty much over, but it is at St. James's Park. So they're going to be trying for this one. I think it's their last home game as well. So I'm going to go down the middle and say this ends in another 1-1 draw for West Ham. And it's soon going to become doom and gloom for West Ham because I don't know if they can survive. Next up is Arsenal versus Burnley. Arsenal, very nervy game from them. And that was probably their last nervy game. Well, apart from the PSG game, but for the season, it's their last one for the league. But it is a foul. That Pablo challenge on Raya, it is a foul. But we're not mad that it was a foul. We're mad at the inconsistency because Arsenal has been doing stuff like that all season long. That's what people are mad about. But yeah, the Arsenal ended up winning, and they have 2 more games left, and that's pretty much their victory lap. Burnley is one of them. Burnley had another good game, but this time actually got a point from it, beating or tying to Aston Villa. But I don't expect them to get any points this game. I think Arsenal are actually going to dominate these guys. Like I said, a victory lap, and I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Arsenal. Next up is Bournemouth versus City. Bournemouth continue their unbeaten run. I think it's 15 games now. And then Ryan is the one to get the goal for them and get the 3 points. He's been great. But a person I want to talk about is the manager, Ariola, however you want to say it. He is doing wonders. The fact that his team got picked apart last summer, his whole defense went away. And then Semenyo also got picked half season. And still, they are in 6th place. It's not talked about enough. I think he's really good. And I hope he stays with Bournemouth because potentially they will be getting Champions League. And that would be pretty cool to see. And City, we dominated against Brentford. We got a win. Doku is waking up finally. Hopefully he scores more of those goals. He scored 3 of them already. But we are still lacking creativity. Yes, we scored 3, but we struggled to break them down. I think Cherki has been falling off a little bit in the recent games. Semenyo isn't creating much. But yeah, we need more creativity. For this matchup, Bournemouth versus City, it's going to be tough. It's going to be at the Vitality. But if we do beat Crystal Palace, we're still kind of in it technically, mathematically. So I expect us to try against Bournemouth as well. And I think we can beat their unbeaten record or break it and beat them 2-1. And then the last game of the game week, we have Chelsea versus Spurs. Chelsea played against Liverpool, and they did a lot better than in their recent games, but still wasn't enough to get the 3 points. They got a point. Caicedo was good in that game. I think he was breaking down play, making great passes as well over the top. I saw one. But I don't think it's enough for them to get Champions League. I think Champions League's out of the question now, which is kind of worrying for them because they have top players that want to play Champions League. So this could see the exit of Enzo, Cucurella, and players like that, Palmer maybe. So yeah, worrying times for Chelsea. And as for Spurs, they played against Leeds, and they had some pretty good moments that you can see that they're improving. And they had brilliant moments like Tell's, his goal. But then they had some scares. Like I said, they Longstaff hit the crossbar. The pen that they gave away, Tell, and then Jed Spence crossing the ball through his own box. Yeah, silly moments from Spurs. Ended up getting a draw from that game. Now they have to go to the bridge and try to get a win there. Battle of the Bridge, part 2 here. But this time Spurs is trying to stay up. And honestly, I think they can get something here. I think they can match Chelsea. Chelsea hasn't been all too great. Spurs has been picking it up a lot more. They just can't keep the net closed. I'm going down the middle once again here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Those are my predictions for game week 37. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and peace.